We'll click.
Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're live. Let's double check here.
So weird to be on the other side of this without the administrative buttons.
Yeah,
just a guest.
Just a guest. Hey everybody, welcome to the
welcome everybody.
Town Hall. We are gonna have some fun. It says live. I should probably go on my YouTube. That's always.
I know. I'm just double checking that we actually are live. Oh, we are.
We're good.
Yep. Love it.
Daryl's saying you lost control, Alex.
I know, right? Hey everybody. So this is our little Jira Town Hall. We have a few people here on camera, but we want to invite you. We have a couple people monitoring the stream here in the chat, and so feel free to take advantage of the chat. And if you have any comments or anything you want to add, or if you want to come on and join us, again, we are monitoring and we can get you in. We can have up to 10 people on here. So if we talk about something and you have a deep passion for getting something off your chest, feel free to join us. We definitely don't want this to just be the 5 of us here. We'd love to hear all your opinions. And if you're a little camera shy, feel free to just blow up the chat, right? That chat is available there for you. Blow it up. Do what you got to do. Emojis need not apply. I'm just kidding. You definitely use the emojis. And let us know how you feel. We have a couple of topics to kind of get the conversation going. But if you all feel strongly about anything, feel free to just jump in. Again, in the chat, we're going to have Peter helping us watch this. And then we have more people kind of guiding us through the conversation, right? So we want this to be as inclusive. We want you to feel as involved as possible to whatever level of comfort you have, right? So again, if you want to come on camera, we highly, highly encourage it and welcome it, and feel free to join us.
I don't know. Someone in chat saying that their insurance doesn't cover Jirapy. Jirapy? That's the right way to say that?
Hey, man, this is the best part. Your insurance doesn't need to cover. This is our good Samaritan for everybody.
I was going to say, you can consider this session the free insurance and extension for the next hour, and then we'll still be around. You can hit us up on LinkedIn and everything with all the questions. But this is the free extension for your insurance.
Yeah, where's that the Patreon and Buy Me Coffee for donations? Yeah. Super chat is available. All right, folks. So so again, just to kind of tee it up, we want to talk about the hard things in life, right? The things that keep us up, the things that make us mad, the things that make us happy as well, right? It doesn't all have to be bad things, but the wonderful world of Atlassian changes quite a bit on us from time to time, and we spend a lot of time in it, right? Probably more than the people that make the changes, I feel. And so we just want to talk about a few different things that hurt a little, just right here. Sometimes it feels like a knife in the back, and we all just want to make sure that we get things off our chest and talk about it, right? Because in debate, we can get new opinions. I know that Josh sometimes hates certain things until I teach them how to use it correctly. And Josh is like, oh, awesome. Now I like it.
That's how I learned it. Like, I learned it all by doing. So I love talking to all y'all and other people. Be like, no, there's a different way that's actually better. It won't frustrate you. And I'm like, this has been here the whole time.
You know, right?
Absolutely. And I feel like this is a great moment to put this up on screen, because Alex and I talked about this before we went live here. But if anybody's a good Mythical Morning fan, you may be aware of this quote, and Alex brought it up. I think it's super related to the conversation we're having here and learning from others. You know what you know. You only know what you know. But that's why these sessions are so great, because you get to come here, talk to your fellow Jira admins and other experts, and see what's making you feel pain. And we can help resolve it. Learn from everybody.
No, I think this is so important, right? So critical. And this is why we have this circle of friends here, because we have to learn from each other. I've asked Atlassian a couple of times, I'm like, how do you train the trainer? All of us here in this call, and to a certain degree, we train folks on how to use the Atlassian tools. But what happens when we get stuck? Right? And it's always been a little challenging. So we kind of try to help each other out and like guide each other and share each other's notes, so we help each other as well. Okay, so first hot topic. Did we get one? And anything in the chat? Anything anybody wants to kick us off with? Otherwise, we got a list.
Show the dog.
Daryl said American healthcare system. How can Atlassian fix it?
I don't know. It's not going to help.
I don't think there's a way.
No, I don't think it can help. No. AI can't be there. HIPAA, high trust.
Okay, well, we solved that topic. Next topic.
Next one. Who wants to go next?
Just pray for us, people. Up here in the U.S., it is cheaper to take an Uber to a hospital than to get an ambulance to the hospital. So
True
just
story.
food for thought.
Well, yeah, the Uber doesn't have an EMP and a paramedic making sure I'm okay.
Doesn't matter. If you're dying and you're half alive and you can kind of CPR your way through it, it's cheaper to get the Uber.
But what if your
I've-
Uber driver is a doctor? You never know. That could be a
Yeah.
possibility.
Okay,
No?
so someone said, what about the Atlassian outage? So let's talk about that because
Yeah.
that's
'Cause we just
the
had one this
automation was
morning.
huge, yeah, and it's
Yeah, we
still
just had a big
affecting
one.
lots of people. Yeah. So
So first thing I'll start off with, Aaron, is I always recommend all the teams I work with bookmark, tattoo, whatever you got to do, status.atlassian.com. If you ever feel like Jira is supposed to do something and it's not quite doing it, always check there first before you go cry wolf. Because once you open up that can of worms and you start asking people, like if you didn't check the first place to check, like shame on you. So definitely check status.atlassian.com first.
You can also subscribe. So you can hit a subscribe button to get notified when something pops up, which I don't do, which I probably should.
and you can click it and have it go into Slack or Teams, so it's automatically popping up as you need it. So
Yeah.
that's what I do.
But
Well,
okay.
I guess to the question then, like thoughts on recent outages. I mean, when I think about it, modern technology does a really good job about abstracting away a lot of the mechanics of the system, right? I think of it like plumbing in my house. I know when I turn on the water comes out. It's magic. I know when I turn on Jira just turns on. I don't see the layers and layers and layers of stuff and the building's full of people maintaining it. And so it's very easy for me to understand there was an outage because one of those things somewhere in that stack that's 5 miles deep had a hiccup.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's kind of hard to appreciate the severity and impact of an outage from the outside. But a similar example is when have you guys ever tried to delete a project in Jira that had like 20,000 issues in it?
What's a project?
Okay,
Ooh.
well, we're gonna talk about why
Mandating.
the heck Atlassian changed spaces to projects and issues to workplace.
What's with the balloons?
Balloons.
Yeah, the balloons.
Welcome to the world of Apple. You don't have a Mac? Okay. To be politically correct with respect to proper Atlassian taxonomy, when you have any of you tried to delete a space with 20,000 work items in it? If you haven't and you try to do it, it will take almost a day to delete.
Yep.
Really?
It'll
Actually
be in your
longer.
trash for forever. And my going inside joke was, I guarantee you that Atlassian has some poor individual somewhere in the world, like one by one, deleting every work item because it's the only logical explanation. So I went and asked Atlassian. I went and talked to the head of Atlassian. I'm like, why do you guys take 24 hours to delete a space when there's a lot of work in it? And then because of all the intermingleness, right? Like it's connected to Confluence, it's connected with knowledge bases, the linked items and automation rules, and you got so many moving parts inside of the ecosystem that any one little link can catastrophically be bad. So they gotta like disconnect so many things. And I think it's appropriate to the outage conversation, right? Like it's easy to think just Jira, but all the microservices that are running under the hood that all have to fire off and work together all at the same time. Like there's a lot of room for error.
And I think of like when I think about JQL and searching in my mind, like the shortcut I use is, it's just a big spreadsheet, right? Like Jira is just a really big spreadsheet. Like that's a vast oversimplification to Alex's point. Like, I don't know how many tables are connected on the back end across how many servers and clusters across so many geos. Like, so there's a sufficient complexity to Alex's point where if one of those things has a hiccup, the whole thing can crash.
Have you
No.
tried this with a team managed project, Alex?
We don't do team managed spaces in this household.
We'll just go outside and make one then.
I know, right? Just go do it outside. That's another topic. We're going to come back for team and versus company in a minute. One other thing I did want to mention on the outages, right? So Atlassian, they've only really had a couple of major outages where it's embarrassing. They're having a lot of micro ones. No excuse, they shouldn't happen. But I think one of the things for you all to consider with respect to the frequency of the outages is one, Atlassian's letting go of talent, right? So that's never good. I guess I should go down. One, Atlassian is letting go of talent, right? So with every layoff, you lose institutional knowledge that might have prevented this from happening. Two, Atlassian's still maturing as a company, right? Atlassian's maturing as a company, and they don't always have like safeties and a good DevOps in place to protect themselves against outages. And then three, I would also then add that AI, and we see this with Amazon just a week or two ago, the amount of vibe coded stuff we're putting into our environments is not always secure or safe or a good idea. And so we're seeing more and more of that, this AI generated code that could lead to some of these outages. Those are my
Yeah.
thoughts.
And I think that's like to top on top of that, like if there's not a dev behind that code, like I'm not backing it. Like I've been through there, great for POCs, you know, but if you're talking about, you know, production level, enterprise ready code, like there better be somebody that can read that code and understand what's going on, or we shouldn't be doing it. There should be no promotion by any AI. That's just like risked at the highest level. And so that's, I mean, I deal with it daily. So I would definitely say there needs to be mitigations there if we're promoting AI code. And I actually talked, I was in San Francisco 2 weeks ago, and I got to sit with the Insights team, one of the women from the Insights team. So, you know, just that little section of Insights at the admin level, that's like what they do. And she's like, yeah, my team just solely takes care of Insights. And I'm like, cool. So like very SOA type methodology for SDLC, you know, each module is its own repo and they're able to control that. And she's like, yeah, we're using AI every day, but I'm like reading the code, I'm validating what it's bringing. We're only doing code sections that are very small. We're not changing big lines of code. And I think that's responsible in good AI, like partnership,
but it's also
right?
very easy to just say, oh, here's 10,000 lines of code in 20 minutes because it can do it.
No, but see, but what I'm saying is they already have experienced that.
But that's
because they've been
discipline,
doing
right?
it for a long
But
time.
not every team has the same discipline either.
No, right. And well, so the last time they had a big outage, I think that was like a year and a half ago where it was like really effective, right? And it was like globally a shit show, had to do with a script that went wrong, right? And so, you know, if the AI is writing a script and a person's not validating before it goes to production, there's a problem, right? So,
Yeah, no, definitely.
That will be interesting. Like as more and more dev tools for AI are built in, you know, I could see the plus side being you can have AI agents, analyzing the code faster than a human could, or more agents. However, to your point, you know, Aaron, you've got, if you're building it with AI and there's a mistake in there somewhere and the human doesn't catch it, real bad.
Yeah,
it's like you get both ends of it, but you got to be careful with the low end.
yeah,
AI can't be accountable.
I was
think,
joking about this. Oh, go ahead, Aaron. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I do think though, like there's this balance here, and I'm not saying don't have AI. I'm saying like use it responsibly, right? That's the whole.
But it's so easier. It's so much easier said than done. Go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, go ahead.
All I was going to say is talking about easier said than done, responsible vibe coding and everything. I mean, I know I jokingly said this before, and I'm going to call on Josh here. Josh, your link did post about vibe coding Jira. What did you learn from vibe coding and using AI and what it can do and what it can't do and all that?
Yeah, I learned that, you know, AI can't ever, it's never going to give you up.
Never going to let you down.
No, I mean,
you to completion.
I think yes, AI can't be held responsible, but it's the person who enforces the AI and uses it that can be. It's like saying, you know, Atlassian can't be responsible for Jira because Jira is a platform. Well, it's kind of the same thing with AI. They're using the product, they're using it. The person who's intentionally infusing it is the person responsible. In this case, it's if Atlassian's vibe coding, they're responsible.
Yeah,
you don't blame AI for doing something wrong. You blame Atlassian.
I took a course in college for computer logic, and my professor had a strict rule: if your name's on it, you better not explain every single thing on that paper. And I feel like the same has to apply to code, right? And from a legal perspective, from an accountability perspective, if Atlassian or any company out there puts their name on some application, they're responsible for every line of code, regardless of who authored it.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
That's why that resume generating events happen, right? I think the one thing I can say here is like I'm seeing status page move faster than it has like 6 months ago, and I'm wondering if AI is flagging things faster for them because that outage went like really fast to status page, where in the past, I feel like somebody was
Oh yeah, in the
doing
past
it
they're waiting for
manually.
me to call them up and tell them something's wrong with Jira, and then they flip
Or
it.
Josh or Robert saying, "Hey guys, come on." But I think that's a beneficial thing, right? Like flagging, because like with the slower status pages, the slower we actually know what's going on. And I think the sooner we know, the more we can do on our side to let people know in the business that there's something that's affecting our
Yeah,
work.
but I think going back to Emily's point though, there's still a certain degree, like as Atlassian matures and grows as a company, like the bar and the tolerance, they're inversely related, right? Like the tolerance of people accepting an outage goes significantly lower, and the bar of quality goes significantly higher. And this is not, Atlassian can't be the same Atlassian from 10 years ago in the space that they're trying to enter with the amount of changes that they're introducing into the system on a day-to-day basis. Like they're inversely proportioned. They can't do that.
What have you seen Claude's status page? I subscribe to it because I use it so much, but it's like rapid fire every
Yeah,
day.
but Claude is not an enterprise tool that drives billions of dollars of transactions per day.
I think it does, because if you look at
Yeah.
Zenflow is backed by all of the different agents.
I would disagree with that, Alex.
Yep, I do too.
Your Jira goes down is significantly more hard, like more of a roadblock than if your Claude goes down. If your Claude
Well,
goes down,
I
you're
mean-
gonna use your head again.
It depends on how you're
That's a
using
different-
Claude.
yeah.
If you're using Claude as a little agent to chat with, yes. But if your whole Atlassian AI Rovo is propped up by Claude, then everything goes down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
And
think
that's what
about
companies are using
think
the
about
API.
MCP servers running daily tasks. I have a client right now. They're like, "Hey, how do we get our Claude to actually engage and create all our stories and all our stuff based on the data that we have here?" And I'm like, "MCP, right? Like, let's do MCP server with Rovo and just like let's do that. And you can just run it from the web version then." And they're
Yeah,
like,
but-
"Yeah, that's great. Let's do it."
But to defend my point a little bit, right? Okay, so MCP goes down, your agents go down. That affects what percentage of the population versus how many people are using the Atlassian tools in general. Like
Does
if
it depend?
Excel went down, you're talking still billions versus maybe tens of thousands.
No, it's probably
I-
pretty close at this point.
No way. There's no way your average employee is like in there building agents.
You
If
know
it
how
was,
much money
It's not
CEOs
employee.
spent on like getting people to use AI right now? Like, it's
yeah,
crazy.
but how much they're investing for people to drink the
Alex,
Kool-Aid
it's
versus how
not
many
it's
people
not
are drinking the Kool-Aid.
employee. It's like AWS. If it goes down, everything goes down, and that's a much bigger problem than Atlassian stuff going down. It's the same thing with AI and whatever else, ChatGPT. It's all the APIs and the stuff that you're using to run your whole company. And if that goes down, it's not a chatbot that goes down. It's a bunch of company infrastructure that goes down.
No, I get
Okay.
that.
Here's
But
some
I don't
numbers. Here's some numbers according to Gemini, a third tool. That's the one I have. Okay, the daily active users for Claude, 11.3 million ish. About 300,000 businesses and agencies use it. Same question asked of Atlassian. Daily active users, tens of million users globally, because they don't disclose it. 350,000 plus organizations. So in terms of numbers of businesses and agencies,
More than Atlassian.
enterprise customers, they're about the same, 300,000 to 350,000.
I was going to say it had to be close.
Yeah. So in terms of like big customers, fine. I think there's two sides to this, right? If a company is using the Atlassian stack, they are probably more all in. They're using Jira and Confluence and Bitbucket and all the things. If a company is using Claude, that is not their whole stack. So what I could imagine seeing happening is a lot of companies using Claude a little bit. That could be mission critical in some areas, but the companies using Atlassian, it's the whole thing. So Alex, I can see your point from that. And Aaron, I can see yours on Claude, right?
And I'm just going
I think
to
it
throw
depends
Emily's
on the
comments
use
up
case.
here because I think this applies. I think to what you're saying, Rob, like this, it probably varies across different businesses. Like an Atlassian stack-based business is going to be heavily influenced by something happening with Atlassian. And there's also differences in like the personas, like who's using Claude, who's using the AI agents, who's just a customer or a support team or an or whoever the person is working within the Atlassian space.
I do see like if they're on the system of work, like, yes, definitely. Like if everything's coming into Atlassian and they're using Atlassian's system of work the way Atlassian wants us to use it, then I agree with you. But I would say there's businesses that are building off of Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini for their system of work, right?
I'm not denying it. I just
they're
still
changing.
think that we're in the early adoption of that versus
I think so
businesses that have
too.
had a business that has been using Jira for 20 years, if Jira goes down, is a bigger problem than if an
Yes.
agent that they started 6 months ago goes down.
Right. For
Maybe
sure.
the impact is as catastrophic. Maybe it just depends on how. But I still think that we're still very in the very early days of agentified AI. Like I don't think it's permeated through the entire enterprise yet.
To Josh's point, though, AWS is run off of IAC, Azure is run off of IAC, GCP is run off of IAC. So
but that's
if
just a
those
snow day, right?
agents, if those agents that are building that data and doing that, and that goes down, there's a bigger problem,
Yeah.
right? Like whatever is being stored there is going down. So
Look at Rob translating hard words for us.
Sorry, I don't know that acronym. Internally elected council.
Oh, IAC.
Oh, hang on, I got this one.
Infrastructure as a code.
Oh,
Because like a lot of them
IAC.
are built off of that, and they're using agents to do that today. And if things are being like auto remediated, what if that goes down and that auto remediation isn't working, right? Or like we're not creating new containers or new workers or new server instances for these things, and then those things aren't happening because a lot of it's being run by AI today.
Do we want to, since we're on the topic of agents and stuff, should we talk about our favorite agent, Robo, or lack of favoritism? What's going on with Robo? I was on a call yesterday with somebody deep in the Atlassian world, and they're like, Alex, I'm seeing more content from you from Robo. What are your thoughts? Do you like it? And I hate that as the Atlassian fanboys and fangirls that we have to say, but it's getting better. Like, I don't feel like it should be part of it. Like, nobody's out there defending Cloud Code saying it's getting better. Right? It just works.
A couple
I
of
think
general
we
thoughts
want it
there,
to be
right?
good.
Yeah. So general thought there, the groups that 4 or 5 of us tend to talk into are like the super deep end of the people who use these things, right? Like I see Daryl in chat. We're the 0.0001% of people who use these products. So we have a very different perspective than the vast majority of other humans who touch the tool. So I try and keep that in mind. Like, can it do everything? No. However, it's not intended to do everything, first off. And second, the overall technology is 3 years old. So like I try and couch my expectation. There are things about it that I'm like, what the hell? Why doesn't it do blank? But like, okay, wait, the Robo is what, 2 years old, maybe? Gen AI, as we understand it, is 3 years old commercially. It's like, I temper my expectations with that. However, through Josh, go. You're up there.
I mean, yes, I agree. I think the core problem here is that Atlassian says it does something and it doesn't. And that's where I get lost, where it's like, okay, you say it can do this thing, but when you try to do it, it just falls flat on its face. And that's the biggest problem. If they said, here are the things you can do, limited but cool, no problems with that. But they pitch it as someone said in the chat. They do want it to do everything, and they're trying to take too much of the pie, and it's just not working.
I'm curious how much of it is internally, like the pressure of everyone's doing AI, right? Like it's the new hotness, to quote Will Smith from Men in Black. So like we got to slam it in there. We got a toaster, put AI in it, make it happen.
Well, hold on. So to turn this a little bit more political, how much of it is based on leadership too, right? We just heard that Atlassian let go of their CTO. CTOs don't walk out the front door, especially one making almost $15 million a year. So how much is it? How much is the responsibility of the from the top down of like why Robo is or isn't working as intended?
I wonder that too, but I also think I think that team's doing a lot. Like I know a lot of the team members and the PMs, and like I think that team's like night and day right now trying to make sure it gets better. And I think remember, it's aggregated. Like it's not one AI. It's not backed by one AI. It's not just ChatGPT on the back end. It's like 30 different sources, right, that are building that out. So
yeah,
I think you have to think about that too. Like you said earlier, like the layers of it, right? The different layers of it. We have to look at the different layers.
But I think I think where Atlassian making a huge problem though, right? Is they try to solve too much of AI all at the same time and brand it all as Robo, but Robo is like 5 distinct products. And they might have just gotten, I think they would have been in a better position if they had different, not Robo, like Aovo, Kovo, Bovo.
Okay, what would Kovo do? What's that one?
Confluence.
Well, Bovo is Bitbucket. We've got Jipadovo, Jira product discovery.
Jobo. It would have just been Jobo.
Just a Momo. Jira
Well, like,
software management.
Atlassian marketing team. If you guys need help, just call us up. We're more than happy to help you out.
There's obviously utility from AI. Like there's a reason the product is so vastly adopted and people use it. People don't use bad products. People use good products. So there's obviously utility there. And in my opinion, honestly, I think they're just cheaping out on the AIs that they're leveraging. So like they're using lower quality versions, cheaper
Right, of
cost
GPT,
of those things
yeah.
because it's free. Like they're not going to give you GPT 5.2 maxed out version deep search. Go at it, no limits. Like that's going to cost them so much money. Maybe if it was paid, it would be a little better. But I think they're cheaping out on that, and it has a really hard time distincting between like what you're actually asking and what you want to accomplish. And because of that, it's really hard to just have Rovo do pretty much anything.
And I think maybe Atlassian had better intentions 2 years ago when they started charging you $20 a pop for Rovo, but then realized nobody bought it. So I just don't think when you go out on the internet, like everybody's talking about, ChatGPT agents, Claude agents, Google Gemini, Gem agents, like everybody's talking about all the other agents, OpenClaw, right? There's a lot of talk in the agent and AI community. Nobody's talking about Rovo.
Yeah, and they're trying to push it as like they're doing the desktop app. You can use Rovo without Jira. Like they did that whole thing at Team last year, but yeah, nobody cares because it sucks. It just doesn't work.
I have it mobile and I like it. I like the mobile version. I have it right here. I'm using it.
What do you do with it?
Everything.
He scans his face with it.
Yeah.
Scans my face with it.
Can you give me a practical thing that you did yesterday with Rovo?
That I did yesterday.
Yeah.
So as a solution, as a solution provider, like I go to sign out for the night and like my job's never done. So I'll see someone post something and I'll use Rovo to help me update my documentation for the next day for a meeting, or to take another document, aggregate that data into a whiteboard so that we could do a whiteboarding session with a discovery call. Like I use it for a lot of things.
And you do that and you present what Rovo gives you to the customer.
I mean, I still double check it. Like obviously I'm going to double check.
Oh, I got to jump on that one, Josh. Of course he double checks it.
Yeah, like I have to. Like, it has to be right.
I've tried it, and it's so bad that I'm like, this is horrible. I'm just going to start from scratch.
So here you go. Like two things. One, the data that you're collecting and that you're using against what you want it to do for you has to be solid. So if that data is corrupt or it's missing data, like it's missing pieces for it to actually do it, it's not going to do it the way you want. You're going to have to fix it all. But it depends where you're working too. So like Rovo breakout, like if you click the Rovo button on the top, doesn't do the same as if you use create with Rovo, right? So that there's different places where you're actually using Rovo that it does different things. And
yeah,
although you say it's horrible, like I would say there's times where it's better than Claude's MCP server because there's limitations on the MCP server on Atlassian side. But I would say there's times where Claude might do better. So it depends what you're using it for, I would say.
So where my mind goes, and Daryl's asking like what's failing, where my mind goes is Rovo, the peak of what it could do is take action for me within Jira and Confluence. Confluence writing up stuff, it does mediocrely well. I would still 99.999% of the time go to Gemini for that. So the writing aspect is just so bad that it's more convenient, but it's not good. The kind of peak of what it would be for Rovo to actually work is it runs in my automations, takes action for me in Jira, does things like that are actually relevant. It can't do that. It literally can't create a subtask. Like
it makes suggestions, but it can't do it.
How? It literally can't do it. And then when you try to run it in an automation, it can't even give you the logs of the automation of why it's failing. And you have to be a legitimate, like pretty dang knowledgeable Jira admin to be able to pull the logs, adjust, but like a normal person is not going to use Rovo. And that's the problem with it.
Yeah.
I need to jump in and say, do this for me. And it does it. That's a good product. Right now, it is not a good product.
I'll give you an example of what it can do for us and what I've gotten it to do. So, and I guess this is different for everybody, but like I had built like a calculator to help calculate migrations, right? With all the data points that you need. I had moved that calculator that I built in Forge. I broke that down into an Excel file. I put it into SharePoint, and then I have Rovo grab that data and start to be able to measure that. And it's able to do it. like consistently with, as long as the data points are on a ticket or in a Confluence page, I'm able to get that calculation, and it will be the same calculation that if you use the calculator that I created. So I think there's times where it can do it, and it's just like, how do we get it to do that, and what guardrails? And if you look at like MD files, I think like when you create your Rovo agent, you have to do the same thing. Like you have to hash out just like an MD file what it can do and what it should do. And if you're like straight to the point, it does it most of the time.
I've been looking at the chat here, and I not to interrupt Rob or Aaron, but like Aaron, sorry, I saw Alex said I have to be more aggressive, so I'll jump in here and get my point in. I've been looking at some of the stuff in the chat about Rovo, and Jay Cameron and Jay Caldwell both shared points. Can I put both of them up on screen? No, I can only do one at a time.
Yeah,
but I think they both had really good points. That when I first heard about Rovo, I was curious, like at what point would we have an AI agent within Atlassian that could actually help as being like an action-taking AI agent? So it's one thing if Rovo is trying to create tickets and maybe it can't create subtasks, but if we can't do that, if we think about the life of a Jira admin, what's going to help them, manage, understand audit logs, update configs and everything like that. And then I'll switch to the other comment. So we see both. How far off do we think we are from that kind of thing, where we actually have Rovo acting as a supporting person? Like you can have an admin, but then that admin could almost have like a team under them of like agents, like a workflow updater and a this updater and everything.
Question for the group here: how many of you guys have used Rovo Dev? Okay,
Dev scares
I've
me.
heard through the grapevines here that Atlassian. So I was on a call with an Atlassian on the Rovo team maybe 3 months ago. And I asked them a lot of the limitation questions, the frustration questions that I had. I'm like, why does Rovo do this? And he's like, that's not my department. I'm like, what do you mean not your department? Like, Rovo's Rovo, right? And he's like, no. Like, we have different teams that handle different parts of it. And what I've heard recently is that the Rovo Dev part of it is working top notch with actions, right? It can go do things because the whole premise of it is you prompt it and it goes and builds, and it does it very, very well. So I've heard, again, rumors. We may have to wait and see what we see at Team 26, but we may be surprised with the effectiveness of Rovo Chat coming later.
That's interesting because that is a different use case than what most of us are discussing, right? Like for me, writing code is something you can look at a list of.
I'm abstracting it out to just taking action, as the actionability part of
what's
Rovo.
the action?
Well,
writing
that
code.
Rovo Dev can go do something, right? You just tell it
Do
in
what?
English. Right now, it writes code. Right now, it writes
So it
code.
can,
Okay,
but
so
it can
one
also
use case.
like check a PR, right? So it can look through and it can give you PR notes and say like what you need to fix, and it can actually action those. In certain scenarios, it'll bring up a button to say like fix that thing, right?
So code.
So
To Rob's point.
So
but
like this is an important consideration for me because Rovo in Jira or Confluence isn't just doing one thing. It's doing a multitude of things that are unique to Jira and Confluence. Writing code is system agnostic. It's just Python.
But it's the reasoning engine that they're going to bring in so that it's more powerful in the
Why
chat.
didn't they do that already? I don't
Because
think
they're
that's the
different teams
problem.
working on different stacks.
Hey, hang on. Like, think about this. though. It's a different tool. Writing code is just guessing
Well,
the
it's not
next
just.
word that
Don't
shows
be
up.
just with it's just.
Yeah, I'm going to oversimplify because I can. I'm going to. But to me, writing code is more of a solved problem than configuring a Jira instance because more people are looking at it. There are more examples in reality of writing Python script. I'm picking up Python because I assume that's what we're using. There are more examples of that in other AI tools that we can learn from and expand and grow with. And it's more repeatable and predictable than help me go set up a workflow in Jira, which many less people are doing. So there's less.
But 20
smaller
years of
focus
creating
knowledge.
subtasks, you think Robo will be able to do it by now?
I love how the subtask thing is also the one thing everyone picks on. Like, find me something else you can't do. I'm not saying it's not true.
Okay.
But
Right.
you're
So
boring.
yesterday,
Happy to.
Daryl and I were on a call. Yesterday,
Yeah.
Daryl and I are on a call, and a new feature that it came out in Atlassian's new email with their new features that came out is take a checklist in Confluence, like 3, 4, 5 items, highlight them, and Rovo will create 3, 4, 5 tasks depending on how many, like one for one. It would only create one with all them jammed into one description.
Ooh.
So
Yep,
why
I
can't
had
it
that
do what
happen.
why can it not do what it's described and marketed as that it can do?
Rob,
asking
the
me? I don't
reason
know.
we bring up subtask is because it illustrates the point perfectly that like an utterly simple basic thing cannot be done by the AI built by the company who runs that software.
Mhm.
Whereas
Who creates
Claude
subtasks?
can do it just fine, which is like, how does that even happen? And I could give you a lot of examples of things Rovo cannot do. I can't upload a document to the agent builder. That's been a thing in GPT since like what, 3 years ago? Like, how is that not possible? If I
Well,
need
you
to
can
draft,
At
Oh,
this
not
point,
in the
you can write
builder.
a
yeah,
book.
not
You're
in the
not.
builder.
No.
So, like,
Just
if
on the agent itself,
if
but
I
not
need
in
to
the builder.
draft a doc, I can't even give it a reference doc to look at. I have to go create a
Right.
confluence page.
Can
Makes
you have
no
Robo
sense.
create a document that says everything that it can't do versus what it can do?
Let's find out. I
Hey,
guess
we
to
should
that
do
point,
that.
like I just a general question, like how much should we be comparing Rovo to other AI?
I
And
think
I'm
you
asking-
have to. You
Well, hang
have
on, I'm
to.
asking
The
this
way they
because
pitch it is further than what is
Yeah,
ChatGPT
it's
and
more
Claude.
let me finish
powerful.
my thought
Excel.
before you all jump on me. Hang on. Look at Anthropic. The only thing Anthropic does is build AI tools, right? Is that reasonable? I
AI
Yeah,
first.
I
sure.
assume.
They're
That's
true
the only
AI
reason they
first company.
exist.
Yeah, that is the only thing they focus on. Look at Atlassian. What do they focus on? It's not AI.
Work management,
But look at
ITSM,
Atlassian.
dev.
Look at Atlassian's news from last Tuesday or Wednesday, or whenever they announced their layoffs. What is their direction? Where is their goal? Is that
Rob, you're right, but the problem is when you're
Thank
in
you,
Apple.
Josh. Nope, we're done. We're done. I'm
No,
right.
hold on.
Yeah.
The
Stream
problem
end
is-
now. We're all good.
The problem is when you're Apple and you take 30% of your keynote to pitch the camera, and then you say, "Oh, we're not a camera building company." I don't really care because you're pitching the camera and what it could do. It better do what you say it could do. And when we're at Team 2.5 years ago, and they're pitching things that Rovo can't do to this day, I'm going to complain about it.
he just brought his physical Robo?
No, that's a great example. My martial arts teacher, this is a aside, I was taking pictures with my Canon camera, a dedicated device that this company only builds this. And she went, wow, that takes much better pictures than my phone. A company that doesn't make cameras, they have cameras in them, but they make phones. This is Anthropic. This is Atlassian. This does some of this, but this does not do this as well, right? That's the distinction I'm trying to pull apart. Like, you're absolutely right. It doesn't do some things
But
that
hold
other
up, hold
tools
up,
do.
hold up, though. But here's
Yeah.
where your thing breaks down significantly.
Break it down. Let's see it.
Your camera. How many people buy that camera versus how many people buy your iPhone? Millions to one.
Not an iPhone.
Whatever.
Unfortunately, here you go.
Millions to one, though.
There it is.
Millions to one.
Yeah. And for
Right.
most people, most of the time,
Right. But that's
this
what we're
camera is
arguing
fine.
with. Right.
Yeah.
But that's what we're arguing. For most people, Robo still can't do what that basic camera can do.
Well,
Yeah.
that
Well,
goes to the same point of like Copilot. What can Copilot do versus Claude versus ChatGPT? They're all different. They aren't all meant for the
They
same
all work
thing.
better than
And-
Rovo.
Well, okay.
For
To
some
the
things, yeah.
point. Point
Copilot's
taken.
an interesting example. I was working in a spreadsheet yesterday and was trying to perform some actions. And what did I do? There was Claude and Copilot side by side. And I selected Claude and talked with Claude and had Opus 4.6 do everything for me I needed to in the spreadsheet, and didn't even think about Copilot. It wasn't, yeah.
Because
I think
Copilot can't do it well.
I think half of it too is brand awareness, right? How much Robo is spent on advertisement versus Claude and GPT were on the Super Bowl ads? Like
But
people
you need a good product first. You don't advertise crap.
No, you don't, Josh. Sorry. I've
You
seen
need a good
so many
product.
crappy products in Super Bowl ads.
But
Sorry.
if you want,
That was-
having a good product is going to help, and I think Atlassian, they're just still. I think they're distracted, right? And I think the change and the layoffs that happen, I think that's a pivot. And let's have the same conversation in 12 months and see where we're at.
Now, that's something else
Yeah.
that's interesting. Like, I teach a getting started with Rovo course, and I have to remind folks, it's not magic. It's only 3 years old commercially. So you're absolutely right, Alex. In a year, we will be having a different discussion
But
over.
So is
Cloud is-
ChatGPT.
Open
It-
Cloud
why
is
are they
3
miles
months
ahead?
old. Yeah, Open Cloud 3 months old, and it's taking over the world.
Yeah, it's
most-
not about the age of the product. It's about the way the product was created and what it was intended to do, and the way that they said it should function versus not functioning.
Sorry, I'm looking forward, right? In a year, it will be 30% of the entire life or 25% of the entire life of the technology. Of course, it'll be in a different spot.
I don't know. To me, you don't release a product that doesn't work, and that's what they did. That's where I'm at. Not
Yeah,
only
I-
that, you don't announce a product that is not ready to be released for 2 years.
Yeah,
And that
that's
is
why I wanted
literally
to-
what they did with Rovo.
I wanted
And
to
that
share a
is so
comment there.
annoying because people are like, okay, cool. This is launching next month. and then they get it 2 years later. Like, that's absurd.
My
You-
thought
you-
there in
you
the
got
laughter was
Sarah's
thinking about
comment?
video games. Like you buy a video game and there's all this random DLC you have to add to make it an actual game.
Cyberpunk 27.
Yeah, sorry, Alex, what were you saying?
So I was saying Sarah's comment here about let's have the same conversation after Team 26. That's where it's not fair, because anything that they announce at Team 26, we should be having that conversation around Valentine's Day 2027, because that's when we're going to get an inkling of whatever they announce in a month.
No,
So
they give
here's
you
something
dates.
that's coming.
They don't hold to those dates.
Rovo's going to studio. You guys know that, right? Like Rovo's coming to studio. Like where you can
Yeah,
just-
that's part of the
Yeah.
RoboCon, right? Like
yeah,
Robo,
yeah. So
yeah.
let's talk about that for a second, because again, it's writing code, it's building those applications for your add-ons that you have missed, and it does a good job at that, at least from what I've seen so far. And we know because they showed that last year, right? But it's not coming till this year. But we've seen a quick version of it on the screen last Teams, or at least Barcelona, I think it was. And I think now that I'm sitting here talking with you guys, I kind of agree more with Josh. Like, even though I use it every day and it helps me in my job, like if Claude can do it better, what am I going to choose, right? To do my work. Like, I'm going to use the thing that helps me get my work done faster and better. And so I think, like, before you release a product, make it hardened. I know Atlassian's very iterative. So I think that's the play they have there is like, let's release it. Let's get people in its hands. Let's be iterative, because they're very agile, like probably one of the most agile companies that I've ever worked with. And that's their take, where I think like Claude and these AI first companies, like, I think their stance is a little different in how they release. So I'm coming to agree with Josh a little bit, even though I use it every day and I actually like
So
it.
do I. Honestly, I use it for things here and there. It's just that 99% of the time I don't use it because it's not better. And I can't. Like, I'd rather use something else because I could do something else in the same way but better.
I guess here's an interesting thought for AI. Like, we see the shadow IT challenge at companies where you have 200 SaaS apps and no one knows who they own. Are we going to see that with AI tools, or have people learned from the whole SaaS explosion?
No, that's why I was telling you should name your agents like Billy and Robo and Kobo and Jobo, because they're pitching it as employees. You're gonna have tens of thousands of agents and tens of thousands of AI tools. Like, it's gonna get ugly.
No, I don't mean just agents, but like Josh is describing, like, Rovo is the official thing we have in Atlassian, but employee number 12 prefers Claude, and department number 3 likes Gemini. Are we going to end up fracturing AI in the same way a company will have Notion and Confluence and SharePoint and all these things?
No, definitely. But
We already do.
But it's going to be
content-based, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's going to be worse though, because NVIDIA at their GTC conference, right? They're pitching like, hey, Ford, go and build your own AI data center that powers your car. So don't go and get don't get Anthropic's code or OpenAI's code, but like build your own data center with your own stack trained for your model. Very similar to what Atlassian. I'm surprised Atlassian doesn't have their own data center just for Robo. They'll probably fix their problems, right?
I'm sure they probably do.
But I think we're going to enter a future where every company out there is going to invest in their own data center that is powering their own AI vertical stack. And it's just going to get worse.
Yeah. I think they're using Bedrock a lot, right? Like AWS. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So we talked a lot about AI. I feel like we could go on and on and on about AI. I want to make sure we talk about admin problems within Atlassian as well.
Those are admin problems.
Good transition.
I'm not saying they're not admin problems.
Let's talk about a good transition here that's still going to kind of keep us a little bit relevant to the AI and help how Atlassian is going to fix their AI problem by helping the administrators. So this is sucking for all of us, but it's going to be great for Atlassian and great for the common folk, right? The people that aren't as big as nerds as us in the Atlassian world, but team managed spaces. As much as I hate that word, Atlassian is investing heavily in simplifying their administration so that things like Robo can come in and be more effective. Because right now, I think Mike Cannon Brooks gave it to me best last year when I was interviewing him, right? You feel like Neo in the Matrix when you figure it all out. And you can't, not everybody can be Neo in the Matrix. Like, it needs to be simple.
And this is actually something I was like mulling over a little bit, literally this morning, just thinking like a thought experiment of AI and like vibe coding and being able to create new products. And there's so many like businesses coming to market with new products that potentially enterprise solutions. And yes, some of them will, come up and people will, or some of them won't work, but some of them, they will become business products that lots of enterprises want to use in the future. But then what I was sort of thinking about and theorizing about is how do these multiple new SaaS products that enterprises want to use, how are they going to interact if they're overly complex within each individual system? How on earth can you connect them properly so they talk to each other well?
They won't.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
they
then
won't.
how do we get to a point where those systems are governed and managed well? It's like,
So-
like to the team managed project conversation, my concern with them is that means every single system is going to be, every single Jira site would be chaos, no team working alike.
Well, so
gonna be
here's the thing: it's starting to get simplified, right, Alex? Like they're going to release
they're starting to,
a
but they're
configuration
breaking-
scheme change, which
Yeah,
is
but they're breaking it
limiting and
along the
stuff.
way.
Yeah, they're breaking it
It's
along the way,
gonna be a
but
transition.
it's not going to work without an API behind it, right? Like if you're talking about using Rovo or Claude or whoever to do these tasks, it still needs an API behind it to do it, and that's the limitation right now. Is there's not an API for everything that we need.
Yeah, I
And
think
team
Atlassian,
managed? And team managed?
in,
Or
in
in
Atlassian-
general?
In general,
Oh,
in
okay.
general, there's lots of lacks of specific API. Like an example would be like, I want to create a layout for a request type. Can't do that today. There's no API that you're hitting to do that. So
That's why Rovo exists, allegedly.
Well, Robo's supposed to be able to help you with creating workflows, and it already helps you with creating like request types and stuff like that. So Atlassian is making very significant under the hood investments into simplifying the whole how projects work or spaces work in general. And I think it's critical. It's going to be bumpy. It's going to suck for us because they're changing the way we think in Jira.
right.
But Atlassian's biggest thing, right? Like Atlassian's stock, as we can see, that was a 65-70% drop year over year. Their stock isn't judged a whole lot by keeping their current customers happy, but their stock is judged by how much they can aggressively grow over the next year or two. And Atlassian's trying to target a different demographic of user.
I wouldn't say the stock indicates that at all.
This year over year growth is very key to a stock's performance.
Yeah,
To the stock, not to the companies.
But I'm only talking about Atlassian stock, right? If Atlassian doesn't acquire new customers year over year, their stock gets hit. They're incentivized to
That's
grow
not.
their
That's
customer base.
not. It can correlate, but it's not necessarily the correlation.
But it's a
It's
number.
not a
they're looking
founding.
at.
It's not a founding ideology of how the stock will grow.
Yeah,
No,
there
but
could
it
be
is a-
many
it's a-
reasons,
but
but
it's a key metric
customers
they're
is one
looking at.
small part.
Look,
Yeah.
guys, point is Atlassian has to grow their user base. Period.
But they are, and their stock is going down. So like it's completely uncorrelated as of today.
But they're not aggressively, right?
No,
It's
they
pretty
are.
weird,
If
though.
you look
I
from
would
the
say it's
partners
pretty aggressive.
aspect, I'm doing migrations every day, and I do migrations from third party, from cloud to cloud to Snow to like name a product.
We talked
migrate.
about this last week, Alex. The Apple's rate of getting new iPhone users is far slower than Atlassian's acquiring new customers, enterprise business customers, like 20% higher. That's pretty dang aggressive. It's not AI aggressive, but like for a company that big with that many customers, it's pretty dang good.
B2B to B2C though, they're different things, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Even with B2B, that's insanely impressive.
Mhm.
All I can tell you is that Atlassian's focused on the next 300,000 customers that they don't have. So every change that we see Atlassian do today is for that target.
I
Yeah.
can tell you that some of the target is actually to grow those customers. So one of the things that Atlassian likes to do is start in small SMB, move to SMB plus, move to medium size to enterprise. Like they want to see that growth of those companies. And I think that's why they started with the startup thing, right? Like we'll give it to startups for free because they want them to grow with the product. So
That's also why Team Manage exists. Like from a business perspective, the only reason Team Manage projects exist is so that a small team could adopt Jira super easily. And now they're like in Jira, and it's like, okay, let's get this team in here. Then let's get this team in here. Oh, now we got to go to company manage. Now we need a Jira admin, and kind of grows. That's the whole point of the Team Manage project.
Yep. It's to get the Monday, the Asana
Yep.
people over to Jira and Trello users too.
So to try and tie it back in, because chat is laughing at us that we're just a bunch of tech bros babbling about stock prices. As admins, like a big challenge I have a lot, I kind of alluded to this earlier, someone used Asana and they like it and now their team's on it. Like, how do y'all approach getting them off of those rando third-party systems?
I tell
into
people that
whatever?
any other tool that's not Jira is like playing two-dimensional Mario here. That's why I have this one here. And to use Jira is to play 3D Mario here. And that's why I have this 3D Mario. It's like 1990s video game versus modern day gaming. Like there's no comparison. If you want a simple task tracker, your Asanas, your Mondays, your ClickUps, you're good. If you want something that can handle the complexity of an enterprise, Jira is the only answer.
But it's also good at the small scale as well.
Yeah, and it'll do the 2D Mario very well. Paper Mario rock, by the way, Emily. I love Paper Mario.
So
Yeah.
I have a different approach, and I don't really care what a client's using. It doesn't matter to me. What
You
matters to
can
me
prove
is
it.
that it's working for them. And if it's not, that's when we bring them to Jira. Like that's because we're also a Monday partner too. So I think like it's up to the team to decide what they need to use and what's effective for them. Because if we tell them that and we shove Jira down their throat, they're going to end up hating it. So when we bring people to Jira, there's a few things that I think that we have to do effectively. 1, we have to train them. 2, we have to give them the knowledge to be successful. And 3, we have to compensate for what they're coming from.
Yeah.
Like we have to make that correlation.
The scenario that I'm, go ahead, Peter.
I was going to say, I think too, it kind of boils down, like one of the things that we, the whole point that Solcoro exists is trying to make Jira better for organizations. And one of the things we talk about is like, when we think about like, yes, there's that like user pushback against tools that they don't like. But at the same time, if you look at what Atlassian is doing, and there was a comment in chat here about sort of Atlassian pushing towards sort of non-tech users. And they want to be able to support those other teams that may currently exist in ClickUp or Monday or wherever they are. And I think part of the question is how do you one, yes, train users so they can work in Jira and understand it, but how can you actually create this, like sort of govern the system in a way that supports them where they don't have to go through like crazy extensive training, it works for them, the teams can interact, because I feel like inherently having those different systems also causes like Monday, ClickUp, Jira, different teams at different spots inherently creates issues and challenges for the business as a whole. So having them in Jira is beneficial. It's just all about how you govern it and make sure that the teams are actually using it properly. Like that's kind of my stance on different platforms and what they're doing with.
I think at the end of the day, like word of mouth, I think is more important than anything else. Like I have a lot of people that come to me, they're like, we want to use Jira because either A, they use Jira in another company, or a good friend of theirs is using Jira and it's worked well for their company and they want to bring it in. It's the people that are using like the Mondays and Asanas that were traditionally non-tech that they're like, we don't want the complexity, because all they hear is that Jira is hard and scary monster. They don't even want to touch it.
OG software dev Jira. That's all it was.
Yeah. And so I think that's the stigma that Atlassian's trying to fight and break.
I think Kythra in chat brought this up, and that's why we're seeing like team managed spaces, right? That is more similar to Monday.com. And that's how you lure the user in, right? Like, oh yeah, you think Jira is big and scary? No, here's a team managed space. You can do whatever you want. And for that individual, hey, good thing. Right?
That goes to the workflow changes, right? With the workflow builder. The old workflow builder was scary looking and had lots of options, and the new workflow builder is
conditions and validators and post functions.
Yeah, I mean,
and
it's just a simplified version.
And yet, as a Jira nerd, when I edit workflows, I still go back to the old one because it makes sense to me and it's what I was using. I'm trying to learn the new one.
Like,
me too.
Like
it's muscle memory.
I hate
you got a week left, Peter.
Sorry, what was that, Alex?
You got a week left. They're killing it off completely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Are they really? Oh gosh. Okay, that's a good thing.
Yeah,
Last
don't
time
get
I
on the
was
new
in there,
workflow editors. That or bust. Josh convinced me that the new workflow editor is like the most beautiful thing Atlassian has made.
No, that's an interesting topic. I see it in chat going around, like usability. Like the 5 of us are used to Peter's point, to the old school way of doing things. Like that's how we learned it. That's what we are experts in. Now there's all this newfangled, like, ooh, it looks shiny and it's different. And we're like, nah, man, let's use the old one, except for Josh, apparently. And we're making the transition. But for new users, the people who are new to it, all they see is the new shiny stuff. And that's probably a good thing. It's up to us old dinosaurs to figure out, how do we make that leap and how do we adjust and help them, meet them where they're at.
There are so many comments in chat here that I want to throw up. I wish I could have 10 comments up at the same time, because I'm like, everybody here is bringing. I'm looking at this one, like the friction for users. Yes. Too many cooks for like a long period of time. Like we've all experienced that, right? Like you pick up configurations or usage that have happened before. It's like, how do you manage that? And then you get the new changes, the new updates, and you're trying to manage old configs with new changes in the ecosystem and not knowing where apps are used and everything like that. And the whole conversation about usability and friction to me is such a big one with
I'm gonna talk about a hot topic here that I know a lot of people don't agree with me on, but I think there's a fundamental problem that Atlassian change equals bad. And I think that's the wrong perspective to have. Like the moment something happens, status button changes, new workflow builder, everybody revolts. This is bad, bring it back, whatever.
The status one was a bad one, okay? Everything else.
I disagree. From an objective standpoint, if you're a new user coming in, it was better. It was. Because I remember coming into Jira and I'm like, why is that there? That makes no sense. As someone who's used to it, I like it better now there. But, you know, objectively speaking, as a new
customer. It's only because you were 2 years old when Jira was made, right?
Point is, I think we need to be more objective when we look at these from like, okay, how are end users using this product and what actually makes it better for them, not for us as admins, because that doesn't matter. There's only 0.01% of us out there. It's the end users and customers that are using the product.
I agree. Only 0.1% of us as admins, but a bazillion agents, right?
But here's the other thing, like when they did make that move and it went back, that was like where it used to be in DC a long time ago. So for me, it was retrofitting it back to where it used to be. And I was like, that's cool. I like that. So I feel like some of those moves that they're making are to bring some nostalgia to the system in the new age. The other thing is, like, I agree with Josh. I think we have to look forward and allow these things to happen so that it can grow. I'm not very happy with the configuration scheme change, but I think in the long run, it will be better. It needs to be simplified.
I think it's the growing pain, though. It's the change for us as admins, but it's also it doesn't work correctly right out of the gate. Like the custom fields right now pissing me off. When you have the team managed custom field, it is now available in your field. So when I go into my system fields or my company managed company fields, I now see the team managed custom fields, but I can't use them in company managed spaces. I have to recreate it if I want to use it in a company managed space. So now I have two fields of the same name, one that's one that's team only and one that's both team and company. Because if you make the custom field for company first, then it can be used in team, but not vice versa. Why, Atlassian? Why? Like, I should just be able to use the freaking field.
I'll say, hey, we're trying to fix that. At Solcoro, we're trying to fix those issues. Check us out. I'll just say that. But no, I totally agree.
2 minutes. Let's do all of our sales pitches. So check out Solcoro. Link down below. Josh and myself are hosting a 2-day event in Anaheim. So if you're coming to team, check out buildittogether.events and sign up for some specialized training and some. Solcoro is going to be present, and we'll have some. If you have any questions for Solcoro, they'll be there, and you can ask some of their representatives questions. But yeah, we're having a 2-day event
in person.
Yeah,
so like we're friendly on screen and we're friendly in person too. So no need to be scared of us. Come up to us and talk.
Kythera's gonna come with what did Kythera say she had? Some sort of an axe or something?
Oh, she was referring to the Gordian's knot of configurations, and my advice was just get a sword. If y'all are familiar with the legend of the Gordian's knot, Alexander the Great just took out a sword and sliced it in half. He got the knot untangled. Yeah, but she literally has a sword.
We also may have a Dungeons and Dragons session going on.
Thank you, Carolyn.
I heard we actually got a room, so there will be it won't be Dungeons and Dragons, but a tabletop RPG where we explore.
We're working on something too for our event, so we'll see. But yeah, so check out Solcoro. Check out They Build It Together.
You stole our idea.
Hey, Ron, is it your birthday today? Sorry, not
tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Happy early birthday. Here, we'll do this.
I'll send you some pictures of some more girls, Aaron.
Yes, do that, and I'll be like yes or no. I'll give you thumbs up or thumbs down.
If you live in the Phoenix area or know anybody in the Phoenix area, I'm also going to be in Phoenix April 9th. We're going to do an ACE, and we're doing an all-day workshop on portfolio.
Why did Josh get the birthday balloons?
I can only do it on my screen.
Oh, you do it on yours?
Yeah, I mean, if you're on a Mac.
Yeah, you should get a Mac.
The superior product.
I'm on a Mac.
I must have mine turned off. Or maybe it's the blur.
I can do the laser jets like this.
Wow.
Oh, what? This is like the new hotkey. it's not hotkeys, it's hand signals. You get funky
Yeah,
things happening.
wait
on
until
screen.
Robo starts doing these guys.
Yes.
Ooh,
Josh is
maybe
like,
that's
it will
a-
never. It will never. Josh is
We're
saying
gonna
it will
finally reach our
never.
way to be Robo so it makes up tasks.
Hey,
We should
before
put
we go,
in-
I
we
just
should
want to
put
say
in-
I like team managed projects.
Mic drop.
Oh, start
End
a
it,
fight.
end it, Peter.
Boo.
End it.
Okay.
I guess, well,
I know we could talk for ages. I want to thank everybody in the audience. Thank you for attending. Thank you for your participation. Alex, Josh, Aaron. But for the record, I know his name is Aaron. It's just fun to say. Thank you, Hean Pio, right? Hean Pio skit or whatever. And then Rob, thank you all for joining us. Give us feedback. Let us know what you thought of this. I'm sure we'll do more like this kind of stuff in the future. Maybe eventually we'll do an in-person event.
be fun.
And yeah, it's been great. So I think that's it. Thanks everybody for attending, and we will see you next time.
Thanks all.
Somebody said, "Bye, nerd."
All right. See ya.